analysis. I hope I'm clearly audible and visible to everybody. Very, very good morning. If you could quickly confirm that I'm clearly audible and visible, we shall commence with the session. Very good morning, everyone. I hope you had attended my last class that happened yesterday. And we're going to be continuing with the editorial analysis today. If you haven't attended my previous class, I would highly recommend you do that so that you know what exactly are we supposed to do in the class every weekend. Good morning, everyone. Just a minute, guys. Good morning. Yeah. So, okay. What are we going to do in the session today? Give me a second, my video team. Okay. So, क्या करेंगे आज क्लास में? Let's have a look at that. But before I show you what exactly are we going to do in the class today, these are our achievers of CLAT 2022. ALET का notification भी आ गया है, December में होने वाला है. That means eventually the whole cycle has changed. It's going to be in December. You could also be here, right here in the picture. Make sure we work really hard. We put in our best foot forward, and we, inshallah, are going to have a place here as well. So what are we going to do in the class? Let's understand that. Good morning, everyone. So in this session, as I told you, I would usually bring one or two articles depending upon the length of the article. Today I brought one article, okay? And we are going to be reading that article from the perspective of how to understand an RC better. How should we read that? How should we comprehend it? What are the lines we should be paying focus on? What can be inferred out of those lines? We're going to be focusing on that. We'll be working on vocabulary through the entire article, and we're going to work on it contextually. So I don't have a separate sheet of vocabulary. We're going to be doing it contextually. We'll work on main idea. Yesterday, I gave all of you a homework of giving me the tone of the author under my video in the comment section. I've replied to everyone. If I haven't replied to you, I couldn't see your comment. I've replied to everyone. Today's homework is going to be something similar because today's article is a little tricky with its main idea. You know, we might think when we begin with the article that voila, we found the main idea, but ऐसा है नहीं उसमें. आपको लगेगा कि आपको मेन आइडिया मिल गया है, लेकिन शायद आप मेन आइडिया में कंफ्यूज हो सकते हो. सो टुवर्ड्स द एंड विल सी आज आपका होमवर्क मेन आइडिया का होगा. यू हैव टू कमेंट अंडर माय वीडियो इन द कमेंट सेक्शन कि मेन आइडिया और टोन क्या होने वाला है, वो मैं आपको बाद में बताऊंगी. कल के आर्टिकल का करेक्ट टोन एक्सपोजिटरी था. ओके, नॉट एक्सप्लेनेटरी बट मोर ऑफ एक्सपोजिटरी. तो अगर दोनों चॉइसेस होते हैं, हम उसमें चूज करेंगे एक्सपोजिटरी एज अ टोन. ओके, all right. I've been really good, everyone. Whoever asked, I've been really good. Thank you so much, everyone. And in the end, we're going to see the review of Indian Express, Hindu, Aeon से दो articles बताऊंगी जो आपको coming week में पढ़ने हैं. Next, I would see you only on Friday after this, if you don't come to my paid batches then. Start करें articles, everyone. Shall I show you the page? Yes, here we go. First page, पढ़ो, तमीज से पढ़ो. किन चीजों पे फोकस करना? Let me remind you of that. I have to find out those lines that are author's opinions or arguments. Okay, I have to find out those lines that are premise. Okay, and I have to skim through the premise. I have to find out those lines where I could draw inferences from. These are the three things we're going to be focusing on when we start reading our article. So here we go with the first page. All the best. मैम जुडिशरी लिया एलेट का भी कर सकता है ना? मतलब I didn't get you, श्रेष्ठ. नहीं समझ आया बच्चे. Done. देखो ऐसा लग रहा है ना मैम ने कितना सिंपल आर्टिकल ले लिया. यहाँ तो फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ में ही मुझे समझ में आ गया आर्ग्यूमेंट क्या है. फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ में मेन आइडिया समझ में आ गया, उससे टोन तो निकल ही जाएगा और इन्फरेंस कुछ है नहीं इस पूरे पेज में. देखो यू नो व्हाट आई वुड से, लाइफ इज नॉट सो इजी, है ना. यहां लगेगा आपको पढ़ के कि शायद मुझे मेन आइडिया समझ में आ गया है, बट ये आर्टिकल 5-6 पेज लंबा आर्टिकल है. सो इफ द आर्टिकल इज सो लॉन्ग, of course the author wouldn't reiterate the same thing that he has mentioned in the first paragraph. He might deviate from that. Of course, it's pretty clear from this page that it's the first paragraph where we need to pay attention to. Right? First paragraph pe dhyan dena, it is absolutely evident. And there's another thing. Do you relate to the author's argument here? Do you relate to the author's argument? His argument is that schools are practically useless in a nutshell. That's what he's saying, right? How many of you relate to the author's argument? Now that you're either in your 12th or in your 11th or almost pass out. I'd like to know that from all of you. You do? I would do as well. I would do as well. जुडिशरी के लिए एलेट का भी कर सकते हैं या फिर क्लैट ही सही है. दोनों करिए बच्चे, दोनों एग्जाम दीजिए. अगर आपको जुडिशरी की प्रिपरेशन करनी है तो एलेट भी एक एनएलयू में एडमिशन देगा आपको, एंड इट्स इवन बेटर. आप वहां कॉन्टैक्ट्स बनाएंगे. आप अगर वहां से दिल्ली से ही इंटर्नशिप करते हैं तो आपके लिए वहीं से जुडिशरी के लिए प्रिपरेशन करना और इजी हो जाएगा. आई वुड रादर हाईली रेकमेंड यू सिट फॉर एलेट ओवर क्लैट. राइट? Now back to the question here. So author in a nutshell says schools are useless. Okay. Everyone leaves schools and then you don't remember anything that was taught to you. You might a couple of things. For example, how to write ABCD 1, 2, 3, 4. These things were taught to you by schools. We would remember those. But then neurons and neutrons. Okay, so all of this data, neurons and cells and your body structure. I mean, I don't remember all that stuff that was taught to me in biology. I don't. So eventually the author makes an argument here. Okay. Now, the next question that I have here is, what is a pedagogical disaster? What is a pedagogical disaster? What does the word pedagogy mean? There's another important line here, this one. What is a pedagogical disaster? Absolutely, Ahana, it's pretty difficult and we don't see its practical implication anywhere. Exactly. Pedagogy is a style of teaching. Exactly. How you teach somebody. And the author calls the schools as a pedagogical disaster. He says this kind of methodology that the schools follow, it's not helpful at all. It's a disaster. We do not need schools. And then see, imagine the kind of claim the author makes here. Author ने कितना बड़ा claim यहाँ बनाया है. The author says, जब Zoom पे classes start हुई आपकी, lockdown हो गया, अब स्कूल तो बंद हो गए, तो Zoom पे classes start हुई. ऑथर ने यहाँ इस लाइन में ये क्लेम किया है कि जो लोग मान रहे थे कि हमारा बच्चा घर बैठा है इसलिए उसकी एजुकेशन का लॉस हुआ है, उतना लॉस आपको स्कूल जाने पे भी हो जाता. क्योंकि जितना आप 12 साल स्कूल में पढ़ते हैं, क्या आप उतना ही याद रख के बाहर निकलते हैं? Yes or no? Of course no. And since it is no, we lose information. That's exactly the analogy the author draws here. The amount of knowledge you lost while the classes were conducted on Zoom is probably equivalent to the amount of knowledge you anyway would have lost. We don't remember everything. Exactly, we don't. So, school बंद है, खुला है, उतना loss तो वैसे भी हो जाता. My claim is not that in the long run, remote learning is almost as good as in-person learning. Remote learning, Zoom पे, in-person learning, classrooms में. My claim is that in the long run, in-person learning is almost as bad as remote learning. वो ये कह रहा है कि remote learning है schools की या personal learning है जो classrooms में होती है. कौन सी better है वो ये नहीं बता रहा है. वो कह रहा है दोनों ही इक्वली बुरी है. रिमोट लर्निंग देखो स्कूल्स की या फिर क्लासरूम लर्निंग देखो, स्कूल्स की लर्निंग इक्वली दोनों ही खराब है. एंड आई वुड give my opinions towards the end of the class why I genuinely believe that our schools need an overhaul. Page number 2, read this and send me a done. Which line do you have to pay attention to here, or you could have skimmed through the whole page? Answer this, everyone. Any line you should have paid attention to? Or the entire page can be skimmed? Yeah, absolutely, Archita. Very good. You should have skipped the questions in the end. It doesn't matter. You know, the second paragraph, only the first line is important. And the last line of the first para. So it says you don't remember most of the things. That's in a nutshell what's important about the first para. What's important about the second para is the claim made in the first line. We remember reading, writing, and arithmetic. After that, we don't remember anything. And all of this is an explanation for that. You should have left this. It's unnecessary. And that's exactly how we skim. So people who come up with questions, मैम आप जल्दी नहीं पढ़ सकते, बहुत स्लो है पढ़ने में, कॉम्प्रीहेंड करने में टाइम लगता है, आर्ग्यूमेंट अगर ढूंढना आ जाएगा, प्रेमिस ढूंढना आ जाएगा तो स्किम करना भी आ जाएगा. इस पूरे पैराग्राफ का आर्ग्यूमेंट है फर्स्ट लाइन और बाकी रिमेनिंग उसका एक्सप्लेनेशन है, प्रेमिस है, बाकी स्किम कर देना चाहिए था आपको. सो अल्टीमेटली वी अग्री विद द ऑथर्स ओपिनियन हियर कि रीडिंग, राइटिंग और अरिथमेटिक के बाद हमको शायद कुछ भी याद नहीं है. हिस्ट्री में क्या पता थोड़ा बहुत याद होगा क्योंकि वो कहानियां थी. Chemistry, biology, physics, probably we don't remember most of the things taught to us. Let's move on with the next page. Page number 3. You know, the first paragraph is a tight slap. Lucifer, that's good. 3 sounds good. You know, the first para is actually like, oh my god, ये तो भैया इतनी बेइज्जती हो गई फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ में. यहाँ वो कह रहा है तुम्हें एबीसी आता है और उसके बाद नहीं आते, तो मैं तुम्हें हाफ लिटरेट नहीं बोलूंगा, मैं तुम्हें इलिटरेट ही बोलूंगा. तुम इलिटरेट हो, तुम्हें नहीं आते पढ़ने वर्ड्स. सिमिलरली अगर तुम्हें हाफ जीके आती है या हाफ मैथ्स आती है या हाफ इंग्लिश आती है, तो तुम्हें नहीं आती है जीके. हाफ आती है नहीं बोला जा सकता है अकॉर्डिंग टू द ऑथर. यू डोंट नो दैट सब्जेक्ट, इधर यू नो इट कंप्लीटली or you don't know it. So we are illiterate right now in all of these subjects that we don't remember from our schooling. And देखो ये लॉजिक बिल्कुल अप्रोप्रिएट है जो ऑथर ने यहाँ दिया है. यहाँ एक क्वेश्चन एब्सोल्युटली फ्रेम हो सकता था of why do people don't remember things beyond reading, writing and arithmetic. And that's obviously because reading, writing and arithmetic is used over and over again. But बाकी subjects में हम उनको regularly use नहीं करते. And since we don't use them regularly, we don't retain them. That's an obvious reason. So a question could have been framed here. Okay. The recurring problem is fade out. The effects of interventions diminish and disappear over time. Of course, क्योंकि जितना कम आपका टच होगा उस सब्जेक्ट से, उतना ही कम आपका रिटेंशन होगा in long run. And that's exactly why we don't remember electrons, protons and neutrons. Yeah. All right. So let's move on with the next page. इस page में I hope there are no doubts. Next page. Let's see what the argument is. अच्छा, अभी तक हमने ये देखा कि ऑथर आर्ग्यूमेंट यही बोल रहा है कि स्कूल्स यूजलेस हैं. आई मीन ये वर्ड मैं थोड़ा एक्सट्रीम यूज कर रही हूँ, बट रादर देन एडिंग मोर वर्ड्स एंड एक्सप्लेनिंग, आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग दिस टू यू इन अ नटशेल कि स्कूल्स का यूज बहुत कम है. अभी तक ये आर्ग्यूमेंट चल रहा है. ठीक है, आगे देखते हैं कि और चीजें ऐड करता है कि ऑथर अपना आर्ग्यूमेंट चेंज करने के लिए, अपना मेन आइडिया चेंज करने के लिए. वी हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल अबाउट दैट. Read this page and send me a done, because now things are going to be added. नेहा, नाउ सी व्हाई डू यू रिमेंबर, क्योंकि साइंस स्ट्रीम में आपने रिपीट करी थी वो चीजें. यू वर इन टच विथ इट. आई डिड नॉट हैव साइंस, आई लॉस्ट टच एंड इवेंचुअली आई फॉरगॉट एवरीथिंग. एब्सोल्युटली अर्चिता. Done everyone? Now let me ask you a few questions. I have highlighted a few words. Why have I highlighted them? What do you think am I trying to tell you here? Let me see if you've understood the kind of words I pay attention to. Why have I paid attention to these words? You should have paid attention to them. Absolutely, yes. These are the words where questions can be framed. These are the areas exactly where arguments are present. These are keywords which will help you remember the entire gist of the passage. These are called keywords. So while I highlight these, if this technique works for you, through keywords, if you're able to retain the main argument of the passage, I would expect you to highlight them as well. So the first paragraph, of course, differentiates between your capability to earn and your capability to know. And schools, of course, will make you more capable of earning, but not really capable of knowing a lot. There's a difference. So the author doesn't claim about your capability of earning. He says, of course, you have a degree, you're going to earn a lot. Okay. You know, lately I met a fellow colleague who later on went on to do an MBA. And I was speaking to him yesterday and he said, MBAs, it's a cartel. Nobody knows anything. उन्होंने बना लिया कि हम MBA हैं, हम elite हैं, हम head करेंगे, हम ज़्यादा कमाएंगे. And this comes out of a former colleague who is an NLU Lucknow pass out and went on to one of the IIMs for his MBA. So he says MBA is a cartel. ये degree है, आता किसी को कुछ नहीं है. I mean, I'm making a big claim here, but I'm just reiterating what he said. आता किसी को कुछ नहीं है, लेकिन ये cartel बना दिया गया कि हम head करेंगे और हम ही सबसे ज्यादा कमाएंगे. तो eventually वो groupism हो गई है इधर. That's exactly what the author is saying. It's going to make you capable of earning, but probably not really capable of knowing a lot. Okay? Now, credential, रिया मैंने इसीलिए ये phrase highlight किया है. ठीक है? Of course, this word passport is a reiteration of the fact that school education is your passport. इंडिया से बाहर जाने के लिए पासपोर्ट चाहिए आपको. Okay? So similarly, ये आपका पासपोर्ट है. जॉब के लिए आपको ये पासपोर्ट मिला है. अगर आपको जॉब चाहिए तो आपको ये पासपोर्ट चाहिए eventually. लेकिन this line is a main claim which a lot of you probably didn't understand. क्या है ये author का claim? It's an argument, a very strong argument the author is making, that credential proliferation pays countries so poorly. What does that mean? What does the line mean? Anyone? What does credential proliferation mean? What are credentials? Your degrees, your certificates. Proliferation means rapid increment. Okay? There are many schools. Exactly, beast. तो डिग्री तो है आपके पास और आप डिग्री पे डिग्री देते जा रहे हो, स्कूल पे स्कूल खोल रहे हो, कॉलेज पे कॉलेज खोल रहे हो, लेकिन नॉलेज नहीं है. जब नॉलेज ही नहीं है तो ये जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स है आपके, ये जो क्रेडेंशियल्स और जो बढ़ते जा रहे हैं वो आपको पे नहीं करेंगे लॉन्ग टर्म में. डिग्रीज तो बढ़ रही हैं, but your pay isn't. It's going to pay you poorly because the amount of degrees present is massive, but the amount of knowledge, the author makes a claim here. He says, जो नॉलेज आप स्कूल में गेन करते हो, कॉलेज में गेन करते हो, यूनिवर्सिटी में गेन करते हो, एज ए ग्रेजुएट गेन करते हो, वो सिर्फ एक डिग्री देती है आपको. एक्चुअल नॉलेज आप तब तक अर्न नहीं करते हो जब तक आप ऑन द जॉब नहीं जाते हो. एक्चुअल लर्निंग आपकी ऑन द जॉब होगी जब आप वो काम अपने हाथों से करना सीखोगे. तो ये जो क्रेडेंशियल्स है वो एक्चुअली आपको पे करेंगी ही नहीं, क्योंकि बेसिक पे तो दे देंगी बट दे विल पे यू पुअरली because you don't know anything. You will know it only on the job. That's the author's claim here. Let's move on with the next page, everyone. Read the page and send me a done. Look at the author's claim. Why he is so outright, he is so critical of schools. He says schools का एक ही valuable काम था, मेरे बच्चे को डे केयर देना. बच्चा मेरा घर में पढ़ता है, होमवर्क तुम मुझे दे देते हो, पढ़ाई मैं करवाती हूँ, तुम्हारा एक ही काम है मेरे बच्चे को डे केयर देना. अब वो भी बंद हो गए तो तुम्हारी एक ही तो यूटिलिटी थी. वो भी खत्म कर दी तुमने. And you know what, I'll be really honest, that's the sole reason why I send my child to the school. It acts like a daycare. I have 5 hours of solace, undisturbed work. She wouldn't come to my class right now because she's in school. So I have undisturbed time. That's exactly the author's claim कि भाई तुम्हारे एक ही तो काम है daycare provide करना बच्चों को. Go ahead and read it. Yes, Adit, it's really good. So he says school closures disaster थे. ये लोगों का क्लेम था. बिल्कुल डिजास्टर थे आपकी कन्वीनियंस के लिए और किसी चीज के लिए डिजास्टर नहीं था. आपका कन्वीनियंस था कि आपका बच्चा 5 घंटे स्कूल जाता था, सिर्फ उसके लिए स्कूल क्लोजर डिजास्टर था. देयर वाज नथिंग एल्स वेयर स्कूल क्लोजर कुड बी अ डिजास्टर. एंड व्हाइल यू नेवर हियर अ कन्वीनियंस अबव ऑल पॉलिटिकल स्पीच, व्हाट डज दिस मीन? व्हाट डज दिस मीन? दिस लाइन, इसका मतलब क्या है? कौन बताएगा? It's a tricky argument. Looks like that, Saksham. Exactly. Yes, Nancy, that's exactly what I'm asking. What is convenience above all speech? What does that mean? Who's going to tell me? Okay, Adit, indirectly, everyone knows, but no one can come forward and claim that convenience is something that we are looking out for. Absolutely correct. Very good, Adit. That's exactly what the author says. He says nobody's going to claim it publicly that convenience is what we need. Everyone knows that in their heart. There are numbers to support this claim that convenience is what everyone needs. But nobody would come out in the open and claim that. Did you get it, Nancy? So he says he supports his own claim with data here. Let's move on. We don't have to read the data if you've understood the. But he says why? If there are questions in the paragraph, we have to be very careful about that because the author is going to give you a big argument explanation about his own claim. Skim through it and give me a done. See, he supports the thing. Everyone cherished it. Everyone needed convenience. And that's why they were so unhappy with the closure of schools. Okay, now I have a few questions for you. This paragraph is a reiteration of the idea we understood in the previous paragraph where the author claimed that हमको कन्वीनियंस चाहिए और इसीलिए हमको ऑफलाइन स्कूल्स चाहिए थे. जब वो बंद हुए तो हम अनहैप्पी थे बिकॉज हमारा कन्वीनियंस खत्म हो रहा था. ओके, सो वी अंडरस्टूड दैट. नाउ आई हैव अ फ्यू क्वेश्चंस हियर. इस पैराग्राफ में द ऑथर इंट्रोड्यूसेस अमेरिकन स्कूल्स and he introduces the fact that American schools receive a lot of fundings through the taxation that is being charged from the people. Okay, is my main idea moving away from the worthlessness of schools to how American education system is misutilizing the money taken from taxpayers? Would you agree to the shift in the main idea here or not? Yes, Archita, the paragraph is demeaning. Would you agree to it? My question I'll repeat. Do you see a shift in the author's main argument from old school and school education being worthless to how American schools are utilizing in a wrong way the taxpayers' money? Stuti, it's the New York Times. You see? Okay. I'll not answer that right now. I'll move towards the last page that's left and we'll see if the main idea actually is criticizing the American schools or criticizing the entire school system overall. We'll keep hanging on to it, okay? So let's move on to the last page here. One more thing. When the author makes such claims in a passage, objectively writes two things, three things, whatever he writes, please pay attention to all the things. This might lead to a factual or an inferential question. Okay, so when such claims are made, two things are important, two things are valuable lessons, we need to pay attention to that. And I have understood these valuable lessons, that the taxpayers' money has gone down the drain, and then the schools during COVID gave taxpayers even a worse deal. The government schools, okay, because they said it's an emergency, we need more money, and we did not get any convenience out of it. Convenience तो zero था ना, schools बंद थे तो education तो author कह रहा है वैसे ही बेकार है. एक चीज जो मुझे मिलती convenience वो भी नहीं मिल रहा, तो तुम पैसे क्यों ले रहे हो? Is the author's claim. Let's move to the next page. I think that's the last one. Yes, last one. Read this and then send me a done. Neha will keep that pending. You look at this line. Done? Okay. All right. So, the author makes a claim, of course, that American schools are not going to make you bilingual. And I'm really happy reading the line. I'm so elated reading the line. Because our schools certainly make us at least bilingual, and most of us know at least 3 languages fluently, one of our local native languages, and then we are good with Hindi and English as well. So let's not talk about Indian schools. American schools, he is very critical about American schools, okay? And then he says, okay, let's talk about the government funded American schools. He is absolutely critical about that. But then he says, let's take into consideration the private schools. If I talk about private schools, are they even better? A little better than American government funded ones? He is confused. He's not really sure, because there are places where he has evidence to support it, and there are places where he has evidence to negate it as well. So he is extremely against American government funded schools. He is partially against the private schooling system. And then he gives you a closure to the story. Now, I wouldn't tell you what the closure is. You have a little bit of homework and you have to comment under my video. So you have to give me your main idea. Is the main idea, you could go back to my video later on if you're confused. I wouldn't give the story a closure here. I would tell you the closure only either in the comment section to your comment, or next Friday when I see you at 11 a.m. My question is the main idea, don't answer it here in the chat box, is the main idea about criticism of all the schools, or is it about criticism of the American government funded schools where they misutilize the taxpayers' money? That, of course, the tone is going to be critical for sure, okay? Panisha is Ramban, correct. Panisha is cure for all. Correct. Okay. So ये आपका होमवर्क है. कमेंट करना है वीडियो के नीचे जब क्लास एंड हो जाएगी. और अभी आई एम गोइंग टू बी शेयरिंग today's Hindu, Indian Express, and 2 suggestions of articles from the Aeon in my background. All those who don't want a roundup for these 3 newspapers can leave the class, but do not leave without liking the session, commenting under my video if you're watching it recorded, share the video with your friends, tell everyone what a great job Alpa ma'am is doing, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Sharing today's Hindu, Indian Express, and 2 articles from the Aeon for you to read during the remaining week. Thank you everyone who's leaving. Thank you everyone who's staying as well. Here you go with the newspapers in the background. So just a minute, let me open up today's Hindu. Oh, yes, I think I can see that. What happened? Just a minute, guys. Just a minute. Why am I unable to open it? Give me a second, guys. One second, okay? I'm going to... here it is. Perfect. Is it visible in the background? New York Times as well? Jai सोच के लिखना, okay? हाँ, the tone certainly is caustic, condescending, critical. ठीक है, let's move to the Hindu. आज का Hindu 3rd September. Okay, first page. Skim through it. ठीक है, from the perspective of legal reasoning, it can still be fine, but English में there's nothing much to learn here. Yes, you have to read this and bask in the glory. Yes, ये भी आपको अच्छे से पढ़ना है. Yes, I've been frustrated. Oh, skim. Only skim. आप छोड़ भी सकते हो ये वाला article, okay? Because it's Saturday, no text and context looks like that. Yeah, no text. Sundays को नहीं आता text and context. आज कैसे नहीं आया? आज Sunday? No, Saturday. Okay. 2 articles as recommendation from the Aeon. One is what on earth is a xenobot? Okay. And the second article is how urban density, living closer together, urban spaces, कैसे उनकी definitions अब change हो रही है. Beautiful one. I loved reading this article. I would highly recommend. ये easily एक reading comprehension बन सकता है. तो पढ़ लेना इसको. Lucifer, ये जो मैं बता रही हूँ आपको articles. Hindu, Indian Express, and Aeon, the New York Times, the Guardian. Yeah, okay. So, and then let's have a look at. ये जरूर पढ़ लेना. You have a week to go. You have 5 days to go. And let's have a look at the opinions. Yes, INS का एक article पढ़ लेना इसमें से या हिंदू में से. I am not trying to watch anything on Prime Video. Okay. Virat Kohli has hinted at the leave this article. Yes, this is a good one. I think you're going to like reading this article. इसको पढ़ लेना. To design solutions in multiple changing contexts. Yes, बिल्कुल पढ़ लेना इस article को. Okay, this is necessary. Teachers in times of Google. बिल्कुल पढ़ लेना इसको. Do not leave that. Okay. So I think that is all from the Hindu and the Indian Express and the Aeon. Ma'am, I read this article from Aeon, Xenobot, First Robot. Yes, exactly. Did you like it, Suti? Economic essays. Saksham. Economic Times. And the Hindu has plenty. Yesterday's Hindu had many. So only that much is enough for you. I mean, I think one of the urban density passages was in BYJU'S. Was it? I haven't seen that. It could be. Can you please suggest a non-fiction book for me to read? Archita, I have made a video on books and recommendations. I took it 15 days back on YouTube. Please watch that. There are many books, fiction and non-fiction, that I've recommended there. Ending the class, everyone. So, New York Times भी देखना है, New York Times भी देख लो. The Guardian, the New York Times. Here we go. New York Times में लेटेस्ट बता देती हूँ आपको कौन सा अच्छा है. सलमान रुश्दी नहीं है जरूरी. I'll tell you which one is good. None. There are many articles on schools जो last दो दिन पहले publish हुए थे. I'll show you these. Yes, school is for us, school is for connecting to nature, school is for everyone. ये वाले articles पढ़ लेना. Okay? School is for learning to read, school is for making citizens. These articles, choose any one. These are brilliant articles. You could read that. Okay? So that is all for today, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a very good day. God bless you. See you again next Friday, 11 a.m. Remember to comment under my video with your theme of the passage. Bye, everyone.